Hello, welcome back to my channel, Be More Intellectual and Sexual, the video series. It's your girl here, Nicole Holloman, coming back with another segment called Shacking. Well, you ought to start packing. I came up with the part 1 and 2, in your pants, in your pocket, in your place. And so this is just a little extension from that. Some of the things I may go back over again in this segment. It's like the old folk used to say back in the day, you young people today always want to put the cart before the horse. I never understood what that meant. And what that means is, the horse is the one that's leading. You can't lead with the cart. The horse is the one that's pulling. In other words, you can't be shacking with who you with and expect y'all to live like you're a married couple and y'all didn't do anything to get married. You're just playing house. Think about it. You put the cart before the horse, it ain't going nowhere. That's an old school saying. It took me a long time to get what that meant. Think about it. The cart before the horse. Well, the horse is the one that's pulling. So in other words, the horse is the one that's in control. You flip that, you can say, well, it's just like Christ is in control of us. He always tells us it's better to marry than to burn, and that, it's better to marry than to burn with lust. And it's you cannot be out here fornicating. And the scripture that I'm going to use for that is Hebrews 13, the 4th chapter. It says, marriage is honorable in all, and the bed is undefiled. But whoremongers and adulterers God will judge. Again, chapter 13, verse 4. Marriage is honorable in all, and the bed is undefiled, meaning in marriage. Undefiled means it's not dirty. But whoremongers and adulterers, homemongers are out here, which means fleeing, just fornicating with any and everybody. And adulterers have a wife or a husband at home, but they kicking it with you. Meaning females, a lot of y'all in relationships with a man that's not your husband. God will judge. So, it's easy to get caught up, and that's another segment down the line I'll be talking about. And I've had that happen on my emotional affairs is the title, but I'll talk about that later down the road because I've been in 4 and I'm not proud of it, but it is what it is. But I'm just letting you know, if you shacking, you ought to start packing. It's so easy to get caught up today, ladies, with the man that you like. It's nothing more important than being with someone that you think the world of. Y'all can spend time, have good conversation. It's always exciting in the beginning when you meet someone. Y'all share things, y'all go out, you spend all kind of time together. But somehow that starts to diminish over time because either at your place, he's at your place, or you're at his place. But 9 times out of 10 that I have seen in the women I've talked to, there are some of y'all who end up shacking with the guy. But a lot of times the guy live with y'all. And it's easy because he didn't really have nothing in the first place. That's why it was easy for him to get with you. So you have to look at the situation and be like, how did this happen? It's easy. You go out, y'all have fun, y'all get together, and of course sex comes into play, and of course you get caught up with that for the moment because it's new, it's exciting, it's different, it's somebody different. He does things this way, she does things that way. Y'all might click and have chemistry in that way. That's all beautiful and good in marriage, but not casual sex. That's all it is. Casual sex, shacking, you ought to start packing. Casual sex is nothing more than a firm foundation of a place that we can call that we're comfortable, that we can kick it, smash, connect, as men use today. All these new terms for sex, just to get their needs met. And using you in the process, and a lot of times on your dime, in your bed, in your house. That's why I said in your pants, in your pocket, in your place, shack, you ought to start packing. They all roll together because that's just what it is. Men who have not had a lot in life, they are capable. All of us are capable of doing well. But when people don't do well, they want to make an excuse and then they want to blame somebody. But the only person to blame is you. Like the late great Michael Jackson, I love him. He wrote an amazing song called "The Man in the Mirror." The man in the mirror. I'm asking for the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. Change starts with the man in the mirror. A lot of men just want it easy today. A lot of females, unfortunately, you too, ladies. You're not just, you want it easy. You want somebody to take care of you. Some of y'all are looking for father figures. Some of you are looking for somebody to just take over and deal with life because you're too afraid and don't want the responsibility. And then you wonder why y'all crash and burn because you're playing house. You cannot get to know somebody by living with them and you're not in a covenant marriage. It's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. It takes time to know somebody. There's a whole lot of things you can do outside of your apartment or his apartment. That's fun. You could go for walks in parks. You're getting to know what this person is, what their likes are, what their dislikes are, what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, what it is they're into. Intellectual. That's why I said be more intellectual than sexual. Because once you're intellectually connected and you're bound together and you come together, that is a whole horse of a different color. There's so many things that you can do, and it's a lot of fun. And then you're like, wow, intellectually you just really start vibing. And then when you get together and say if y'all got married and the sexual part comes in when it's supposed to, oh, everything's off the charts then. That's how you want it. I have seen too many. I had one relationship, I thought I was going to get married, but it didn't go that way. Because I had it in my mind, pause for the call, story time. I wanted to be a mom. I wanted to be a mom. I think that's why God gave me this heart. I've never had children and I've never married. Like I said, I'm 52 years old. And I used to cry about that all the time because I wanted a Brady Bunch family. I was crazy about the Brady Bunch. I love, Mr. and Mrs. Brady. I wanted to be Miss Brady. My husband's Mr. Brady. I want to be Miss Brady. Have an Alice, a station wagon, a dog, and my boy, girl. That boy protects that girl. Had my 6 kids. I know, right? None of that happened. God had another plan for my life. Because I want to be that PTA mom or that mom, how you work the concession stands and stuff during football. You get to know other parents and y'all start to do different things and go out there have a ball. I was so excited. That's what I wanted to do. Wasn't God's plan. So I said all that to say, a lot of y'all who's shacking and ought to start packing, you start dealing with bills, dealing with life. Cars break down. Money gets funny. Stuff come up missing. Stuff ain't getting paid. Maybe you or your partner, one of y'all had an issue with substance abuse or drugs. Or y'all want to stay high all the time. And you wonder why Monday and stuff is not connecting. Things are not clicking. Stuff is not vibing. Stuff getting cut off. Then friction comes in. The arguments coming in. And then you stop having sex with him or he stop having sex with you and he start doing his thing. He just stay out all night or she stays out all night and you're trying to figure out what's going on. Because you're unequally yoked. You're shacking. You ought to start packing. You're not living according to what God says in his word. You don't have to live with somebody to get to know them. You can take your time. You can go out, you can date. I'm not bashing men. You can have 5 different guys you want to and talk to. You ain't got to sleep with them. That's what I'm trying to say. Your most prized possessions between your 2 legs, ladies, you need to carry it that way. You do not have to sleep with a man to be accepted by him. If he's pressing you for sex and you're not ready, don't put yourself in that position. It's real easy to get caught up and then you figure out, because it's better to have your feelings hurt now than for you to be devastated later. Because like I said, men know who they want and they know who they can toy with. And when you're shacking and you ought to start packing, living with a man is the worst thing you can do as a female. Do not put yourself in that. Do not. And if you're in the situation now, I pray that you're working on a plan B to get yourself out. Because men are fickle and they will flip on you, just like some of you women can flip. But I'm speaking from female perspective, because I'm female, I'm a woman, I'm a seasoned saint now, and I'm telling you what I know and what I've seen. Is too many of you out here that's playing house. Stop allowing yourself to get played just because you want to have somewhere to lay your head. And I'm so tired of you young women telling me, well, Mr. Cole, I have needs. I have needs. I said, okay, so you have a need to get hurt. You have a need to get played. You have a need to be devastated. You have a need to get your feelings hurt. You have a need for unwanted pregnancy, and you have a need to be just crushed. Oh, but you got needs. Okay. You got a need to be devastated. You might as well say, because men out here, when you start talking about, oh, I'm pregnant, you talk about get ghost on you and flip. Ooh, I've seen that more than once, and it's not been too good. But he said he loved me. A man gonna say and do whatever he want to so he can have somewhere to lay his head. And a lot of times the men that y'all with right now is not who your king is. You are a queen. You are someone's wife in the making. He can't find you. You stuck up somebody else, literally. What's the point in that? And then you wonder why things don't work out, and you're devastated. You're devastated. You know why you're devastated? It's because it was never destined to be in the first place. If you shacking, you ought to start packing. Too many times in life, when you live with somebody, you start seeing signs with them. They got issues with their family. The stories, they tell you one thing, but honey, keep on living. Like I had some saints tell me, seasoned saints. I don't like saying the word old. Even though Uncle Steve Harvey loves Steve Harvey, he say old is the go. Yeah, it is. Old is the go. But I like to say seasoned, because our seasoned saints let us know, oh, that little fairy tale gonna fade real fast. And when it starts fading, it's when, how can I say, the 2 months, it's always that 2-month mark with me and who I was with at the time and who I'm seeing. They would spend a lot of time in my house, but I knew better after that first time. Don't give nobody no key to your place. But men get comfortable. And I'm not proud. I always looked at, how they say, the scriptures say don't think of yourself more highly than you ought to think. You don't think yourself better than somebody else. But I could always remember saying at one time that why or how did I get here? That's always my question in the back of your head. Because if you have to always doubt, wonder, or worry, a man is going to just play with you. I have another segment that's coming up here soon. Are you a woman that's being played, or you require a plan? It's two different things. But right now, if you're shacking, you ought to start packing. Because life happens. People get sick. God forbid, your family members pass away. Or God forbid, you happen to be with somebody and they passed away and you're in their house and their family's telling you to get out and y'all got kids but they don't want nothing to do with you. Or you're in a situation where y'all just are so broken and nothing is happening. You can't understand why different things have taken the turn the way they have. They were never said to be together in the beginning in the first place. It's just too much at stake that in your pants, in your pocket, in your place. If you're shacking, you all start packing. Because all of that runs together. And it's a hurtful thing because nobody wants to feel like they got played. Nobody wants to be disappointed. Nobody wants to have any setbacks in their life, but it happens. When you take the cart before the horse, this is what you get. Cars break down. Well, we got to pay the rent. Well, I want to get this. Well, I work hard every day. I want to get these Jordans. Or I want to get this. Or I want to get that. I want my new suit. I ain't got to do that. We ain't married. I ain't your husband. I ain't your wife. What are you together for?
Hey, beautiful. You've got a text message.
Sorry, message. But that's the whole point in the first place. You don't have to be in the situation in the first place. You're going to deal with life. Life's going to deal with you, okay, if you don't want to deal with life. I love what Sylvester Stallone said to his kids, and I quote, "No one punches as hard as life. Life is undefeated." You ain't kidding. Nobody can punch you as hard as life. Life is undefeated. It's going to kick your tail. It's going to give you a monkey wrench in the program. It's going to slap you every which way but the right way, with the right thoughts, on a Sunday morning. I'm going to tell you, it's going to smack you straight. And you ain't got no choice but to deal with it. So think about that. You're dealing with life as it is. But you're living with this dude who you say loves you and you love him, you say. But when the chips fall where they may, or when the rubber meets the road, he's the first one who's going to skate out the door. He's going to roll right out that door and leave you hanging. And then you want to go to court. I'm going to sue him for the lease or, deposit. He was supposed to give me half the rent. He lived with me 2 months and didn't give me no rent. He ain't obligated to. You know why? Because his name's not on that lease. He didn't pay that car payment because his name ain't on the car payment. Your name is. You just trust him at his word because he made you look cross-eyed up inside, like your, eyes roll in the back of your head from the sex. Well, he loves me. No, love is an action word. Love is what you see. God gave me another segment that's coming. Women, we look for relationships. We think the moment that we lay down with a man, or we start kissing and hugging and caressing and we're starting to see each other, unless a man verbally say, "Hey, I want to be exclusive with you," y'all just kicking it. You just kicking it with somewhere to lay your head and y'all playing house. That's no way to live. That's not how God designed you to live. He did not design you to be played like that. So just know, ladies, if you shacking, you ought to start packing. There's enough in life to deal with. You don't need to live with a man to have him validate his love for you. Because a man will move heaven and earth for you when he loves you. And people are like, "How do you know, Miss Nicole? How do you know when a man loves you?" You have his heart. When people always say, "Oh, she's not the one," or "Oh, he's not the one," or "She's not the one." You know when you're the one for a man? When you have his heart. Nobody has said that. But I've seen it for myself. A man can dislike a woman, cannot be with her, can be divorced from her, but let something happen to her, you'll see it in his actions. That happened to my best male friend, my other best male friend. And I seen it. I'm like, wow. I thought it was a beautiful thing. I mean, he loved her. They divorced and everything. And sad she passed away. But he loves her. And I seen it like, wow. I've never been loved like that. And I've seen different ones at my church. I've seen different friends of friends, acquaintances of friends. When a man loves you, he will move heaven and earth for you. When you have his heart, you have him. You know it by his actions. He ain't got to say nothing. It's just things he do. It's just a given. That's going to be another subject. But no, the way you know of a man, you have his heart, you have him. If you shacking, you ought to start packing because you don't have his heart because he playing with you. Do you want to keep getting yourself being played? I hope not. You're too beautiful. You got this. Well, I don't know what to do, Miss Nicole. I can't. I'm stuck. No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're not stuck. Love you and you got kids. There's always somebody out there that God's going to give you to help you get through that. Know this, okay? You are special. You are blessed. You're wonderful. Now, there's a lot of nice guys out. There's some fine guys out here, just as beautiful as they can be, and nice. I'm telling you, I know. I ain't always been saved, but I ain't been no loosey goosey, but I could have been. But I'm just saying, if you're shacking, you ought to start packing. God got you. And a lot of times, like I said in these videos, I'm very transparent, but I'm real, and it's about accountability. You have to be accountable with some of your actions that you're doing out here, ladies, because it's imperative, because it will affect your life and it can affect your future. Your yesterday and today does not determine your tomorrow, but it does if you don't give it no insight to care to change it for the better. Your yesterday and today does not determine your tomorrow, but it will if you don't look in the insight to do better. No, you got this. Like I said, you and God a majority every day, any and every day of the week. In your pants, in your pocket, in your place. If you're shacking, you ought to start packing. They all go together, because the two entwine. They're supposed to meet, but they don't. It's always on a negative connotation. Out of 10 people, you may know maybe one or two out of that 10 will make it as a couple. It's too much out here. It's too much out here. And y'all, a lot of you sisters are weighing down heavy. You carrying loads that was never designed for you to be. We as women don't have to have nothing. A man's supposed to provide love and give us all in a covenant of marriage. And you have to have a man's heart. And men out here, young men today, in that 15 to 30 age, they playing. You get every now and then, you'll get something that's serious. Now, this word can apply to all, because there's older people who are shacking in years, shacking, and then you wonder why your kids is doing it, and you know why they having all these babies and not caring for it, because it's always one parent's going to be doing more than the other. Now, if you got some out there, I just thank God that I ain't have that to go through, because part of me ain't always been with Christ. You know what I'm saying? I'm just being honest. The cold prior, I still working on me at 52 years old. I still got an issue with cussing to this day. I know, sidebar to the left, story time. I know, but I'm curbing that down. Colossians 3:8. Move all filthy language and corruption out of your mouth. My cousin Kelly told me, cuz you do. Okay, I got you. But not to put you on blast, cuz, but you know. But anyway, I'm just so thankful that I have this forum to speak. Like I said, a lot of these stories that I tell and things to tell and circumstances that we run together, we'll do this. But if you're shacking, you ought to start packing. There's too many of you out here living a life with men that you are never destined to be with. You're just playing. And in order for you to get what you're supposed to have in God, know that He's going to give you the right things in the right time. But you have to be willing to wait. And you know why nobody wants to wait? Nobody wants to be lonely. Nobody wants to be by themselves. And we as women, men are notorious for that. Are they going to make sure? Because it's always going to be a woman going to play with them. Always. Always. So, in your pants, in your pocket, in your place, at least if you're shacking, you ought to start packing. I hope some of you do. Be mindful and know that you and God are majority every day of the week. Walk with the world held high, your head held high, look the world right in the eye. You and God, y'all got this. Peace and blessings. Till next time. Bye-bye.